This is it. This is a very special Rebel Scum podcast, and Never Tell Me the Odds edition of the Rebel Scum podcast. It was supposed to be a live edition, but so I don't know what's going on. I've got to look into how to go live. Apparently, it's been a while, so that didn't quite work out. So sorry for everybody that was looking for the live stream. I should go on Twitter and tell everybody that's not happening because we're going to record it. But please join along in the comments, and if you have any odds for us, we're going to do a Never Tell Me the Odds, obviously. Tell them in the comments and we will put them on upcoming shows because I wanted to. Andrew, stop moving closer to the microphone, to the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm back. There we go.
Basically, what's happening is starting in October, we are going to be doing a Road to the Mandalorian and a journey to the Rise of Skywalker. So there'll be a lot of Never Tell Me the Odds segments during that time, as well as some other very cool short shows here on the channel. I'm James Vasili. That's Andrew Fantasia. This is Never Tell Me the Odds. My microphone also stopped working today, so now I'm using this thing. And it's not high enough to really get me. So, whatever. You know what? I'll just leave it here. I don't know what it sounds like, and I don't care. Because it's been a frustrating ride getting this far. 100 days until the Rise of Skywalker. Today we are going to do a Rise of Skywalker exclusive Never Tell Me the Odds. The first odd, I have to go straight to Twitter. Patreon's own Aaron Quinton had an odd for us, and his odd, please do my request for Never Tell Me the Odds. Luke Skywalker is alive in the Rise of Skywalker. Andrew Fantasia, is Luke Skywalker alive in the Rise of Skywalker?
Who was that? Was that Aaron Quinton?
That was Sir Aaron Quinton.
Sir Aaron Quinton. Sir Aaron, I'm going to give you the number 12%, sir. I think there's a 12% chance Luke Skywalker is alive, which means I think there's an 88% chance he has shuffled off the mortal coil and left us. I think that he's just, he's gone. He's a ghost with the most. I was just watching a video before we started recording about ghosts. So I think he's one of those. I think he's just haunting an old British castle in Lancashire, somewhere out on the moors. And Rey's going to bump into him and be like, what should I do? And he'll be like, well, ooh. And then he'll tell her what's what.
Put your phone on silent. God, you're like Brock right now.
My bad. That's actually my e-pad. Because I just tweeted out to everybody.
You did, and that was probably me liking and retweeting it. So I have to say a hard no.
A hard no? Why a hard no?
A hard no. I'm gonna go 7%, 7.2% is what I'm gonna do. The reason why is because once you're dead, you're dead. You can come back as a Force ghost, but you can't come back in physical form. Maybe CVP can, but he's also, learned how to cheat death. We know that from Revenge of the Sith, that he learned that ability. To what extent, we don't really know. So he's the one that I would say, the only one plausible. Now Yoda, some people mentioned that Yoda looks a little bit more, thick-skinned in Last Jedi. And that is a possibility that maybe they eventually get there. But I just don't think Luke will come back from the dead. I don't think he is the Rise of Skywalker, quote unquote. I think he's too on the nose for that. And he was on the nose for The Last Jedi. So I just think they might stay away from on the nose of titles. But I could be completely wrong. And if I am, great. I have to go 7.1. Did I say 7.1? 7.3? So whatever percent. On that one, I just think he's dead. And I mean, the rumors of Colin Trevorrow were that he was canned because he didn't want Luke to be dead. He wanted Luke to be alive. And if you're just going to bring Luke alive, I mean, I'm sure there are other factors in his firing. By the way, there is a Jurassic World short film premiering on FX in like a few weeks that he directed. I don't know how long. It's probably like a minute. It's probably just dinosaurs going roar, and that's it. But anyway, he was fired. Part of the rumor was that he couldn't agree on Luke or Leia, both of them maybe. He didn't want Luke to die, was the big rumor of it all. So, yeah.
Well, let's get one thing clear, Colin Trevorrow. Nobody wants Luke to die. But, it's storytelling just has to go down certain roads sometimes. But I feel you, buddy. We all wish Uncle Luke was still around.
Yeah, I think if Luke just survived at the end of that movie, a lot of this hate would go away.
The rift would be thinner?
A little bit thinner, because I think, and I think the reason, it's supposed to be that big moment at the end of the movie, and I've said this multiple times, I just don't think that it actually hits the way that it probably read. It doesn't. I was watching it the other day. I'm like, this is cool, but it's not like, it's because he doesn't accomplish any, like, until we see the Rise of Skywalker, of course, doesn't accomplish anything in that moment. Like, he's just stalling, and so you die to stall. Like, and plus you wait a whole movie for him to come. There's just a lot of aspects of it. So I just think leave him dead. Force ghosts are still cool, and I think what could be cooler than seeing old Luke Force ghost. Maybe that's where they should have started this trilogy, was with Luke already being freaking dead and just being a Force ghost from the start. And he's like, whatever. I just think he's got to remain dead. 7.1%.
Yeah, let the dead stay dead.
Unless you're CVP.
Unless you're CVP, in which case let the dead stay ghosts.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, we know he dies, but I think for the better of the 9-movie saga, he has to be alive. Because otherwise, again, I think part of it's weird because the whole Skywalker saga thing didn't come out until they announced the title of The Last Jedi, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
In that press release, it was like, and this is part of the Skywalker saga. I was like, what? Where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they wanted to put the focus on Rey and Finn, and that's fine, but they did it in like this backhanded way where they're like, oh yeah, the original guys are still there. It's like, and because of the mystery box nonsense, we were never told what these movies were about from the get-go. So that made it even harder for us to want to follow these new characters, because we don't know what the point of them is, except to get Luke Skywalker. And then when we get Luke Skywalker, it's like, well, what was the point of getting this guy? And 7%.
Cool.
Aaron,
What's next?
Aaron, I'm gonna go with mine next, because mine, I don't like mine too much, but
and
you have we gotta you have one that's going to be the odds of all odds, apparently.
That's correct. Yes, I have the odd to end all odds. We'll save that.
Yeah,
for later
that'll
on.
be the very last one. That's what we'll end on. So I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna start with one because I've been watching the Resistance, Star Wars Resistance a little bit. And it actually is the reason why I started watching Droids and Ewoks again. And Droids, we've talked about this, Kylo Ren and all the fun little things. There's Grievous's wheel ships in it. There's a lot of stuff in the Droids cartoon that you'd recognize from the prequel trilogy and apparently the sequel trilogy as well. Obviously the original trilogy, but okay, so my first thought, this is Resistance, which is kind of a kids show. Which again, I'm going to argue there's nothing wrong with a kids show for Star Wars fans. The odds of Kaz appearing or mentioned in the Rise of Skywalker.
I'm going to go kind of low on this one, bro. I'm going to go 2%. I think that Kaz is, not to be mean, I think the show is fine. I think Kaz is fine. But I think this is a 3.5 hour long movie of the big leagues. And Kaz just isn't quite the big leagues. He's not.
But why can't he be like Red 7?
He absolutely could be Red 7. And you know what? I'll give you this. He could show up as like a pilot, as Red 7, and we don't hear his name spoken or anything. But then when that visual dictionary comes out and we're like, oh my God, that random extra we saw was supposed to be Kaz. Neat. I think that has a much better chance of happening. Look, we don't know what's going to happen in season 2 of Resistance. Anything that happens there could play a factor in it. But they're ending it with the Rise of Skywalker. Like, they're ending it in that time frame, right? This takes place in between these two movies, essentially. So we're going to see how the Resistance gets to band together, I guess, more or less, in this one at the end of Last Jedi. It seems like I don't think it's going to happen either. I'm going to go 37%, 37.3%. That's going to be my 37.3%. But here's my thing. It's a little bit high. Like and the reason is because it's like you don't put anyone from Rebels in any of them, but then they show up in Rogue One. That's fine. But you have this
opportunity. It's like when they ignored Snap in The Last Jedi. Like, you have Snap. You created this character and like all these other resistance, and they're just like, they're not on that ship. They're somewhere else. But when did they leave? Like, there's been 4 seconds between movies. When did they have time to leave? Like, I don't know what the obsession is with not wanting to carry over characters when right from the get-go they're like, everything is canon and everything's connected except for everything. If it's in a film, it's not going to connect to anything.
Do you think in the case of Snap specifically, do you think that's more of a case of Rian Johnson just forgetting or whatever, like just not thinking about it and just writing a script without Snap? Or do you think that's a case of somebody saying, hey, Snap's not like necessary here, so let's use this opportunity to write a book about him and just leave him out of the movie, and that'll be a book?
Well, I think it was Rian Johnson saying there's no point to this character. Like you said, there's no point to the Knights of Ren in that movie, which is a fair, valid point. But it's when you throw something in, you just... The Knights of Ren, I understand. The Knights of Ren, I could totally get behind not being in The Last Jedi. They don't have a place. I get it. But Snap is part of the reason. Like, he's there. Like, where did those people go? Especially at the opening battle. Why was he not in that opening battle? Kill him off. But I think it's just a character that was J.J. Abrams kind of thing, and Rian Johnson was just like, I'm not going to use him because he had Paige and Rose, and but J.J. at least is using Rose, thankfully.
Yes,
it's like,
thankfully.
Like, just we're not getting the old aliens. Now you're taking away the new characters that we might not be obsessed with, but they made a Funko Pop of Snap, and I actually own him somewhere. He might be at Brooks. I don't know where it is, but you know what I mean, like. That's where I am. So it's like you have this show that Rebels they made, while they were kind of developing the new saga. So, okay, and plus it takes place too early, so they can't connect. Fine. I get it. But now you have this show that purposely takes place when it takes place about the Resistance with Poe Dameron, with BB-8, with Captain Phasma, with now Kylo Ren. And you're not going to have any bleed over? You know what I mean? Like, it's like I just to me that is a missed opportunity and poor planning. And look, I'm not saying make him a main character. I'm just saying make him Red 7 or something like that. Like that is where that's all. Like, there are all these characters and they exist in this universe now, and unless they all get blown to smithereens, I think at least someone's got to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that having him there as just a random pilot, passing by, and we find out later on that, that's Kaz. That's really cool. I think that's a beautiful little sprinkle of fan service in a movie that I'm sure is already going to be full of fan service. If he doesn't show up, though, I won't be like, man, where's Kaz? Like, I won't miss him.
No, I won't be like that. I'm just thinking, like, if they're going to have random pilots, why not make a couple of them characters from these animated series that we know now? And look, and somebody that doesn't watch Resistance is going to watch it, and they're not going to think anything of it because it'll just be another random pilot. But for us, we'll be like, oh, yeah. And that's really...
And, like, a name drop isn't even that... Like, it doesn't even feel like it's that much to ask. Like, just think about the Battle of Hoth. Good shot, Jansen. Who the hell's Jansen? We didn't know. We still probably don't know unless he's getting a book next week. Confirmed he is getting a book next week, the Jansen Chronicles. But all you need is something like that. Like, good shot, Kaz.
Yeah.
And everybody who knows Resistance will be like,
I think of like Rogue One when like there were those little tidbits. Like the Ghost is there. Like people that didn't know. Like my dad. Like think my dad gave a crap that the Ghost was there. No, but it was.
Pasquale knew 100% that was the Ghost. He tweeted it right away in the theater.
He did. My dad actually used to have a Twitter account. He hasn't used it in a few years. All right, let's go on to your next odd, which is not. This is not the most amazing odd, the odd to end all odds, but this isn't.
Correct. Yeah, this is another odd that doesn't end all the odds, but it has to do with something you brought up, sir. It has to do with the Knights of Ren, because we know the Knights of Ren are kind of a big deal in this movie. They've been showing up in promo images and whatnot. We see what may or may not be one of them fighting Kylo Ren, and a Knight of Ren makes the front cover of the visual dictionary, like it's front and center. They're a big deal. So my question is, what are the odds that we see at least one Knight of Ren in this movie, in Rise of Skywalker, with their mask off?
Well, in fairness to your point, the Last Jedi visual dictionary was a Praetorian Guard on the cover.
Yeah, that's true.
They're in 1.5 scenes. So, but super cool looking. I'm gonna go high. I think I'm gonna go 67. Everything I'm doing is like a 7 is involved today. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go 67.3%. I think it's plausibility. I'll tell you what I hope doesn't happen, and it's probably gonna happen. Oh, by the way, I don't know about you, but I have there have been like leaks and rumors. They're starting to really, really heat up now. And I have cut myself off from the Force. I have said no, thank you. So I sent you and some other people a message saying this is how as of this moment, from what I've seen, this is how I think the movie's going to end. And that's why I gave you that. Like last week, I did that. So because what I'm saying is I've decided doing this podcast, specifically, whatever. I want every episode of the podcast that I do and my reaction to the movie to be all based solely on what I have seen from official releases from Disney Lucasfilm. Like that's all I want. I'm not gonna no more looking at look at that leaked photo of Finn riding a weird cow thing. No more of that. It's everything I'm gonna base everything off of is gonna be what I see. So everything that I come up with now is gonna be based on that. And I think it'll give me a fresher look into the movie as well. And you know my story about Attack of the Clones with the Force.net way back. So I'm like, you know what? If any of it ends up being true, it'll just suck me out of the movie anyway. So that being said, I hope Matt Smith does not show up. If Matt Smith shows up in this movie, I might write J.J. Abrams a handwritten letter. Like, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to get like an old ink pen, write in cursive, and be like, why lie to us about Matt Smith being in this movie? Why lie to us?
And sign the letter, John Harrison.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about this before. Yes, Benedict Cumberbatch lied about playing Khan, but he didn't lie about being in the movie. Like, because Matt Smith has no association with Star Wars, so him being in the movie, I don't care. You could be like, he's playing a villain. All right, cool. Yeah. You don't have to tell me he's playing young She VP or a Knight of Ren or whatever. That being said, I'm going to go 67.3% that we're going to see a Knight of Ren with their mask off, and it will be none other than Kevin Smith. No,
Ooh, I think you're absolutely right. I think for this one, I might have to go full Brock.
Ooh.
Yeah, because of the parallel that you drew with the Praetorian Guards. Like, yeah, they were these cool guys. They were front and center in a lot of marketing. They're definitely front and center on that book. We got an excellent scene with them. They did way more than the Royal Guards ever did in episode 6. But at the end of the day, we never saw who was in those costumes, and we probably never will, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. So I think it could be split down the middle there. Actually, I'm going to change it to 51%, not full Brock, because I think the Knights they matter a bit more than the Praetorians do. But I still think that JJ would definitely want to keep up that air of mystery going on there. I don't know what you're holding up. Hold on, it's not on camera. Let's see what we got there.
That's for you. It's a picture of Brock. That's the only picture of Brock I can find right now. It's Brock waving. Yeah, see, I think they're going to be different for Praetorian Guards, though. I think they're going to be... They have more of a... their purpose is more story-related. Mm-hmm. So I think... I could be wrong. You know what? They're so weird because they're kind of like a throwaway line in The Force Awakens that like Brock became obsessed with. You know what I mean? Like I bet you we could poll 100 people, like casual fans, and maybe half or less would know of the Knights of Ren based on watching The Force. You know what I mean? Like because they're not mentioned. Like unless you're in it, I don't really think people obsess over it. And I think they're going to be totally cool. And they look. I mean, now maybe more people, even though they're not in the Vanity Fair magazine. By the way, did you pick up the Entertainment Weekly with the Mandalorian on it?
No, I didn't pick that up. I saw the image you sent me. Like a lot of people, I thought they were Black Series toys.
No, the Black Series toys don't look that good.
Yeah, they don't.
Actually, no, the Mandalorian one actually looks pretty solid. That one, I'll say. I'm going to pick that one up for sure because you could go along with my Django, which I think you could still buy Django, I think.
I hope just make sure you save up some money because that will be coming out in 10 years.
I got the Darth Maul. I got the re-released Darth Maul.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they had Maul, they had Anakin, but I couldn't get them all, and I really wanted Anakin, but I was like, you know what? Eventually, I'll probably get Anakin, but I got the Darth Maul one. He was available. I always see the Scout Trooper, which I kind of want. IG-88, which, but that's what annoys me is IG-88, and then they go, here's IG-11.
When they said that there was going to be a new IG droid in this show, I was like, okay, cool. But I was always hoping he would be a different color because there's an IG droid in a comic. I can't remember which comic who's all red. And I was like, oh, that looks really cool. Like that would make a great toy. So when I heard about this character, I was like, yeah, bring it on. Like maybe he'll be like green or white or something. But the fact that he just looks pretty much almost exactly like IG-88 is kind of a letdown. I don't know.
Well, apparently in the show he does get mistaken for IG-88 and it annoys him. So I guess they're playing the jokes on that a little bit. But what I mean for the Black Series figures is like you're just repackaging IG-88 and calling him IG-11 and maybe putting in like a different shaped weapon or something. And like I don't know, it just is. You know, I'm getting upset.
Yeah,
now. But it's like because it's Kylo Ren and Rey. Like okay. So you're just reusing, and their costumes haven't even changed. Like Kylo's mask has a couple cracks. Okay, great. Rey, I don't know. The new guy from Jedi Fallen Order, which is fine, and then the second sister, which looks super cool. Mandalorian, super cool. IG-88. So, and then who else is coming from Rise of Skywalker? Were there more?
That's it as far as I can remember. Oh, and the Sith Trooper. But if anybody...
No, the Stormtrooper. A First Order
Yeah,
Stormtrooper.
A First Order Stormtrooper.
I love Stormtroopers more than anybody. But holy crap. Like, they didn't change. What, they got a little bit extra, like, black outline on them? Like, come on, man. Make something new.
If anybody watching right now is from Canada, by the way, please help me out. Let me know if you have seen the 6-inch toys of like Afra and Ezra Bridger and Afra's droids and Chopper because like those are nowhere. No. Two Toys R Us's, 4 Walmarts. I checked around. I checked like two EB Games. Nobody has them. Nobody.
I'll check for you because I've got a couple that are pretty decent around me for that stuff.
Yeah, check out that decent EB you got next to you there.
I don't, but yeah, the thing is, if they have it, it'll be gone in before I get there probably. So this is actually the Black Series that are coming out for Triple Force Friday. 8 figures in total from Jedi Fallen Order, Cal Kestis, Second Sister, Inquisitor. And like I said, the Second Sister Inquisitor is kind of cool, and Cal Kestis we don't have, and his droid looks super cool too.
Yeah.
For the Mandalorian, awesome, and IG-11. Like, where's Cara Dune?
I really wish it was Gina Carano.
Yeah, like that. Like, oh man, like that's what I was like. IG. It's just the same mold. And then from Rise of Skywalker, First Order Stormtrooper. Like, come on. Sith Trooper, which is, I mean, it's just a red Stormtrooper, but it's cool still. Rey with Dio pack. The picture I saw, I don't know. It was just, I'm so disappointed. And then Kylo Ren. And look, I'm probably going to end up buying all of these at some point.
Wow, you're a trooper. No, I don't think I would buy all of them.
I'm not. To be honest, if I could get any of them, the Mandalorian was super cool. Second Sister and Sith Trooper are the ones I would get. And now I do have my Rey and Kylo Ren wall, which I like to dub the Reylo wall, but then it's not a romantic wall. It's just a wall of Rey and Kylo Ren. And so I might be tempted if those ones went on sale to get those two because I am a sucker.
I will admit, I do really like the way Black Series does droids. And I really like the different looks of Rey's costumes, even though it's literally just color changes.
But this is literally the same one that she wore. Like, it's not like it's changed this time. Like, I understand Last Jedi and Force Awakens have changed, but now, at least give us Dark Rey. You know what I mean? Like, at least do the Dark Rey one. How on? Like,
don't kid yourself. There's a Dark Rey coming. But it'll come like next Halloween, but it'll be.
Everyone's talking about how Star Wars toys aren't selling. First of all, I've been to Toys R Us and they've shut down in the States. Toys just aren't selling. Mm-hmm. But like, if you want it to sell, just be like, you know what? The first one we're gonna do is gonna be Dark Rey because it's freaking cool, and there's a double-bladed lightsaber, and deal with it, and that would be totally cool. But instead, they've done the same. All right, let's move on because I'm rambling. I got carried away on my sad Akbar about how angry I am that all the toys are the exact same for Star Wars. I go to Dollarama. There's 100 of them at Dollarama, and it's all Hux, Rose, and Rey, and Leia from Rebels. The Leia from Rebels everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like, and there's a couple Finns and some Stormtroopers, and then like the big, huge Jyn Erso and Stormtroopers. But anyway, it's just like Hux and Rose. Like, no kid wants to play with a Hux or a Rose. Like, seriously, like with 17. Like, why did they mass produce those two characters? They should Yoda. They should have just made 1,000 Yodas. Only 1,000.
That's it.
All right. The odds of someone being resurrected from the dead in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
I hope the answer is 0. But I will say that the answer is 5%. Because I think there's Palpatine is still such a wild card, man. Like, that we still have no idea what's going to happen with this dude. Why is he back? How is he back? I hope it's not resurrection. I hope it's something a little different, off that beaten path. But I think that is still something kind of looming over our heads and the heads of the Resistance. So I wouldn't go lower than 5.
I'm going to go full Brock.
Ooh.
I'm really...
Wow.
Well... Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a part of me that says if they really want to get in our heads and be like, look at this crazy sheesh, that they would do it. And they could do it. I think, Palpatine, I know a way of choosing death. Maybe Luke learned that while being trained by... Because we know now that that Luke was talking to Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda since Return of the Jedi until he cut himself off from the Force, which was very... close to The Force Awakens. It wasn't much earlier than that. So I think it's a very realistic plausibility. I just don't. I'm gonna go full Brock because I just don't think. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, here's a question. Let's say there's a scene where it's like out of like Casino Royale or something where somebody poisons Finn and Finn is like, oh, I'm poisoned, I'm dying, or whatever, and everybody's freaking out, and his heart stops, and then Rey shocks him or she does something to be like, come on, get him, and then she starts his heart again. Does that count as being resurrected from the dead?
No. I think I could see something like that happening. Like, I could see, but here's my other problem is Finn now has had 2 close calls with death. And how many times are you going to fake out on his death for me to care, to actually be concerned about it?
All right, are you ready for the odd to end all odds, James?
Bring it. This is our last odd. Never tell me the odd. Don't forget to give your comments in to give your odds below, your percentages, and if you have any odds of your own, put them down below. Like and subscribe. Should have said that off the top. Didn't. Whatever. All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Okay, we all know that this is going to be C-3PO's movie. This in 100 days, we're all going to be chanting C-3PO's name like the Ewoks. We're going to be worshiping the hell out of that guy. So here's my question, because I think this is his time to shine here. In The Rise of Skywalker, what are the odds that C-3PO says the line, "Never tell me the odds"?
I almost feel like we should have waited until the night before we saw the movie to do this one. We'll have to revisit it, so keep it. 71.2. I got another 7 number. 71.25%. I'm gonna go high. I think that would be great. I don't think it's gonna be entirely his movie. I think it's gonna be very Return of the Jedi. He will be like the Jabba the Hutt portion. And then I think we're gonna lose him about a quarter of the way in or a third of the way in. I think we're gonna lose him early, but he's gonna go out with a bang. It's gonna be amazing and epic. And yeah, that's 71.25. Is that? I think it's such a great way to end it. It'd be cool too if Han comes back and he says it to Han. I don't know. Did Han get resurrected? Maybe. He doesn't, because his body probably it fell and then it exploded inside a planet. I don't know if anyone saw that. Yeah, that's mine. I love that odd. I love that odd. Comment below, guys. Andrew, it's your turn. Put your money where your
Hey,
mouth is.
my money is saying 96%.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I
That
think it's
is
going to be fan service, like laying it on thick, like Nutella on bread, baby.
okay.
It's going to be, yeah.
Oh well, but will he be like, never tell me the odds? Or will he be like, never tell me the odds?
I feel like, okay, I feel like JJ will write it to be said the first way, but Anthony Daniels will say it the
Yeah,
second.
never tell me the odds. But do you think he's gonna die a horrible, horrible, slow, painful death? Do you think he's gonna? Do you think we're gonna say? Is he gonna be the big death in this movie?
I hope not, man. I hope it ends. Like I know you've talked about your ending with R2, and I like that, and I think that any ending where we're left with just those droids again would be absolutely beautiful.
How perfect would it be if it ends on Tatooine with either Rey or Kylo, or Rey and Kylo, or just Kylo, or Ben Skywalker solo, or Rey Skywalker solo, whatever, and they walk in and R2's really sick, and they're like, and it's dusk, and he goes outside and he looks up, and Ben or Rey puts their hand on him, and it's all silent, and they just kind of put their hand down. As they put their hand down, it goes into R2's point of view of the twin sun setting, and then an iris is out. Da-da, da-da.
Yeah, I'm bringing a pack of Kleenex.
But like, I just think
sleeve.
how I don't know. I just think that would be it. It's not. I told you how I think it's gonna end. That's not how I think they're gonna do it. But how perfect would that be if that's how it was? Like, just because then you're acknowledging A New Hope and Luke and the importance of R2 and how this was George Lucas's idea. Was he was the one kind of telling the story all along? Like, it's all kind of in one, and he closes down. You know, and he can always come back in the future. He's a droid.
Yeah, they can always find him and turn him back on.
But I love your idea of C-3PO saying, never tell me the odds. But, you know, I just, because, you know, I was watching Droids a lot, and the cartoons, it's not the best, but it's a lot of fun. And we were talking about Resistance. And a lot of people hate on Resistance, and they hated on Forces of Destiny and all that stuff. And it's just like, what? I hope they make these stupid throwaway cartoons for kids again, because you want to get kids to like Star Wars. That's what you do. Have a whole cartoon about just crazy characters hanging out on Batuu, and they'll all want to go to Disneyland to hang out on Batuu to see these crazy creatures that were created just for the theme park. That's what you do.
Yeah, just give the kids some, throw them a bone, throw them a cartoon, throw them some granola bars with like Dio's face on it, and then they'll be like, what's this robot? And their parents will be like, well, it's from a movie. You want to know more? And the next thing you know, you have future podcasters on your hands.
But we don't need any more of them. All right. That is all for this episode of Never Tell Me the Odds. Brock and I will be back recording this weekend, I think. The next 2 episodes. We're going to do 2 episodes this weekend. That is the plan. It's been a long, long break, but you know, life sometimes happens and you've got to deal with things going on. So that's going to be it. Andrew, thanks for coming along and doing these odds.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad it's been fun. I've been sitting on that odd for a while, so I'm really happy to get the chance.
I think we'll definitely have to revisit it. Maybe if we do the round table like we did before The Last Jedi, we could do that during that round table again, because that was a really, really good one. We did the round table exactly 1 month before Last Jedi. So, oh no, or was that on the Thanksgiving of America, the American Thanksgiving?
I can't remember what it was. It was around there, but I still have our predictions, our episode 9 predictions.
Yes, we're gonna revisit that as well, and we'll kind of I think we'll watch that tape, and then we'll do a new version of that as well. All right, guys, don't forget to write your comments and your odds in the comments below, and if you have any new odds, write them below, tweet us, DM us, whatever you want. Let us know. It's been a lot of fun. Andrew, thanks again. And as always, everyone, may the force of others be with you.
And never tell me the odds.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.